Opening night in the NBA tonight, and so the race is underway. Lakers, no surprise, are the favorites at plus 275. Nets and Bucks at 5-1. Clippers 6-1. So last year there was kind of like three-team trio at the top. Now there's four, so to speak, but really Lakers in a class by themselves, and then the next three are there. And then we go to double digits with Celtics, Heat, Mavs, and Raptors if you stretch it out to 20-1. All right, let's do a little house money with notable championship bets. The biggest futures bet right now is on the favorite, as one bettor at Caesars William Hill took the Lakers for 20 grand at 3-1. So that obviously pays 60 large if the Lakers defend their title. The largest potential payout is a $2,000 bet on the Rockets at 100-1. So that's $200K. Rockets have since moved from 100-1 to 40-1. Knicks 400-1 to win it all. And there are 10 teams at Caesars that have gotten less tickets than the Knicks. Think about that. No team has gotten less money than the Bulls. People are betting on the Knicks to win it all. That is just lighting money on fire. All right, so highest percent, 60% of all the money that has come in the futures market at Caesars William Hill is on the Lakers, which is now plus 275. As I mentioned a moment ago, Nets 12%, obviously the high. 9% for the Warriors. Interesting. Obviously, some of it could have come before the draft, which was when Klay Thompson, that draft night, was got to sustain the injury. Okay, let's discuss this further. Tyler and Joe back with me. So the Lakers, short number, less than 3-1. Do you still find value in that, Tyler?
Yeah, I do. We were talking about this, I think, last week with Preston, and I just think this team that won last year under, extraordinary circumstances got much better this offseason, not just because AD and LeBron have another year to grow together, and AD is now, he's considered now a king of the NBA. He's a champion. He can walk with that swagger. But adding Schroeder, adding Harrell makes the bench much better. I don't think they lost much defensively either. Wes Matthews, good defender, even at his age. So too is Marc Gasol, even at his age. And those guys will be able to kind of play to their strengths because you have the great eraser behind them and Anthony Davis. So the team's deeper, the team's better. I think there is still value, especially if they get off to a hot start. That number is not going to get any longer.
And I don't think it's going to go up, even if they're like 6 and 7 out of the gates or something like that, because we just showed the graphic. They have 60% of the money. Odds makers are not in a rush to give you a higher payout on the Lakers when they are also liable. They took steady action ever since they announced they were getting Anthony Davis a summer, two summers ago. It's been steady flow last year and then into this year. So if you're an odds maker, you're like, I don't need to go higher to be fair odds just because they're a little cold out of the gate. So you're right. I think it only goes down as well. Anyone jump out to you besides these top tier favorites?
Grew up as a Sixers fan, have no problem sprinkling a little bit on Philadelphia at 20-1 because there's some genuine intrigue coming into this season. The best the Sixers were so far in the Joel Embiid era was from 17 to 19, the two seasons where they won 103 games. That's the best two-season stretch they put together since Iverson in 99 to 01 when they won 105 games. Why? They surrounded these guys with three-point shooters. They had J.J. Redick on the roster, which spaced the floor for Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons to do their thing. Well, now they went out this offseason, brought in Danny Green, they brought in Seth Curry. They've got a lot of opportunity here. 20-1, very intriguing. You always have to worry about Embiid's health. You have to worry about his conditioning. Doc Rivers is there now. I'll dabble on Philadelphia at 20-1.
It's fun to see big odds, and we kind of talk ourselves into it. And I'm with you on Philly. I could see a path. We talk about that in the fight game, UFC. What's the path to victory, so to speak? And it is there with Daryl Morey on board. I'm just curious, because it's the NBA and it's a best-of-7 format, we've seen teams contend with an upset or maybe upset and then flame out. How many teams could legitimately win this title?
I think there are 5 or 6, and I do think Philadelphia is one at longer odds that I have. I think the Nuggets as well at 21. They were so close last year, and Michael Porter Jr. has a year to grow. They did lose Jeremy Grant, so that could be a big issue. And I think about the Mavericks as well. The Mavericks with Luka Doncic, they didn't have Kristaps Porzingis, and they took the Clippers to 6 games. Now if you add KP and Richardson, who they swapped for Seth Curry, I think there are a few teams at those longer odds, along with the Lakers, the Clippers, the Heat, and the Bucks and the Nets. So maybe I extend it to about 8, realistically.
Yeah, and I go back and forth. Yes, one of the favorites won, right? There was a 3 favorites, and the Lakers prevailed. But what if the Heat don't get injured with Dragic and Butler and stuff like that? You just wonder, because if the playing field is more level. I want to bring in Preston Johnson. So, Preston, do you see any value outside of the Lakers?
Not really, to be completely honest. You guys know, and Tyler mentioned we were on doing last week. I'll say the same thing I said then. I usually go out of my way to not be a homer. Last year, I was trying to find any team that would beat the Lakers and had value in the bubble. And now, like, the numbers, like, they should win this like 30% of the time, and I'm being pretty cautious with some of the upgrades that they have made, offensively, especially with the second unit. At plus 275, you only have to win that bet about 27% of the time to break even, and there's still 3-1 out there before they took that 20K bet at 3-1 and they moved it down. So if you shop around, you can get even better. Like, I think it's the Lakers, and a lot of it has to do with the mispricing of the Nets, in my opinion. I don't really buy them being the second favorite in the entire NBA or the entire league, or maybe they're third. It's second or third. They're not there for me, and so I think that's where you're getting a lot of the value is mispriced on the Nets side, and the fact that ultimately I just don't know if the Clippers, who got worse from last season in my opinion, the Lakers got better. If everyone's healthy, it's going to be one of those where in 6 to 8 weeks we're going to be like, wow, it's the Lakers versus the field at minus 110. Why didn't we take 3-1 or plus 275? I think you just got to take the Lakers now if you like them.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.